Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes. Today, we're going to be diving deep into Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. You know, it's a book that's often considered one of the greatest novels ever written, but we're going to try to break it down for you, extract some of those nuggets of brilliance.
It really has it all. Love, adultery, social satire, philosophical and spiritual searching, and vivid depictions of 19th century Russian life.
Right. So, to give our listeners a bit of a roadmap, Anna Karenina follows two main storylines. You've got the tragic love affair between the titular Anna and the dashing Count Vronsky. And that's set against this backdrop of a society that is obsessed with appearances and social standing.
And then in contrast, you have Konstantin Levin. He's a landowner, and he's wrestling with questions of faith, purpose, and finding meaning in a world that often feels shallow and materialistic.
Yeah, and throughout the book, Tolstoy weaves these storylines together, exploring themes of love and desire, family and societal expectations, the search for meaning, and the complexities of human nature.
Yeah, and it's worth saying up front that Tolstoy's prose is incredibly rich and insightful. He goes deep into his characters' inner lives, and he gives us these incredible glimpses into their thoughts, motivations, and struggles.
Okay, so let's get into it. The novel opens with one of the most famous lines in literature. Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way.
Yeah.
And right away, we're introduced to one of these unhappy families, the Oblonskys.
Stepan Arkadyevich, or Stiva as he's known, is a charming but somewhat feckless man, and he has been caught having an affair. His wife, Dolly, she is heartbroken, and she's really struggling to decide what to do.
Right, and it's a scene that immediately sets the stage for one of the novel's central themes. This tension between individual desires and societal expectations, particularly for women. Dolly is expected to forgive her husband and maintain the facade of a happy marriage, even though she's deeply hurt.
Yeah, and it's fascinating that Tolstoy doesn't just condemn Stiva. He shows us his charm, his genuine remorse, and his very human inability to resist temptation. And it makes us as readers question our own judgments and think about the complexities of these situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And into this already complicated situation arrives Anna Karenina, Stiva's sister. She's beautiful, intelligent, and trapped in a loveless marriage to Alexei Karenin, who's a high-ranking government official.
And from the moment she steps off the train, there's this sense of electricity that surrounds Anna. She represents something different, something passionate and alluring in this world of social decorum and repressed emotions.
Yeah, and that's where Count Vronsky comes in. He's handsome, wealthy, and instantly smitten with Anna. And their connection is undeniable. It sets in motion this chain of events that will have some devastating consequences.
Tolstoy does such a good job of building the tension between Anna and Vronsky. You feel their attraction growing with every glance, every stolen conversation. It's the slow burn that explodes into passion.
There's that famous scene at the ball where they first dance together, and everyone in the room can sense this shift in the atmosphere. It's as if their love is this force that can't be contained, even by the rigid rules of society.
And that's really what makes Anna's story so tragic. She's caught between her desire for love and happiness and the unforgiving expectations of her social circle. Society doesn't offer her any way to reconcile these desires.
But it's heartbreaking to watch her struggle with her conscience. You know, she knows that pursuing a relationship with Vronsky will come at a tremendous cost.
Yeah.
And yet she's drawn to him like a moth to a flame.
And I think it's important to note that Tolstoy doesn't shy away from portraying the seductive power of passion. We see how Anna's world is transformed by her love for Vronsky. It's exhilarating, it's consuming, it blinds her to the potential consequences.
Right, yeah.
And as their affair becomes more public, we really start to see the hypocrisy of the society around them. You know, people who engage in similar behavior. They're so quick to condemn Anna, ostracize her, and fuel the gossip mill.
Yeah, it's like society needs this scapegoat, someone to project their own anxieties and moral uncertainties onto. And Anna, with her unapologetic pursuit of love, she becomes that target.
Exactly. And as Anna's world is shrinking, we're introduced to Konstantin Levin, this character who kind of embodies this completely different set of values.
Right.
He's a landowner, deeply connected to rural life, and he's grappling with his own set of existential questions.
It's such a brilliant contrast. You've got Anna caught in this glittering but ultimately suffocating world of high society, and then you've got Levin out in the fields, wrestling with the practicalities of farming and searching for meaning in the simplicity of nature.
Right. And Levin's journey is just as captivating as Anna's, although in a quieter, more introspective way.
Yeah.
He's a man of deep feeling and intellect, constantly questioning his beliefs and searching for a way to live a life of purpose. And he's also deeply in love with Kitty, Dolly's younger sister. And their relationship offers this really beautiful counterpoint to the tumultuous passion of Anna and Vronsky. It's a love that grows slowly, built on mutual respect, shared values, and a genuine connection.
And through Levin, Tolstoy really explores those themes of faith, family, and the importance of finding meaning in the everyday. Levin struggles with farming, his interactions with the peasants, his doubts and moments of spiritual insight. All of these elements kind of contribute to this rich and multifaceted portrait of a man trying to find his place in the world.
I love that scene when Levin is out mowing with the peasants. It's a simple act, but it becomes this really profound moment of connection with the land and with the people who work it.
It's a beautiful illustration of Tolstoy's belief in the transformative power of physical labor, of being in touch with the natural world, and it's such a contrast to the idleness and superficiality of the aristocratic circles that Anna moves in. Right. And as Levin's finding solace in the countryside, Anna's becoming increasingly isolated. Her and Vronsky travel abroad. But even in Italy, they can't escape the weight of societal judgment. They eventually return to Russia. But Anna is now a social pariah.
And as Anna's world closes in, her relationship with Vronsky begins to unravel. That passion that initially consumed them gives way to jealousy, possessiveness, and a growing sense of despair.
Yeah, there's this tragic irony in how Anna's pursuit of love ultimately leads to her destruction. She sacrifices everything, her reputation, her social standing, even her son, for a love that ultimately fails to fulfill her.
And one of the most powerful symbols of Anna's downfall is the recurring image of trains. They first meet at a train station. And trains kind of become this constant reminder of the speed at which her life is spiraling out of control.
Right, and of course, there's that incredibly haunting scene of Anna's death at the train station. It's a scene that has been analyzed and debated for centuries, but it's undeniable that it's one of the most powerful and unforgettable moments in literature.
It captures the essence of Anna's tragedy, the sense of being trapped, of having no escape from the consequences of her choices. And it raises those profound questions about the nature of love, society, and the limits of individual freedom.
And while Anna's story is ending in tragedy, Levin is experiencing his own kind of epiphany. He's wrestling with the meaning of life, the nature of faith, and the importance of living life of purpose.
And in a moment of quiet reflection, while he's watching his wife Kitty care for their newborn child, Levin has this profound realization. He realizes that true happiness doesn't lie in fleeting passions or worldly success, but in the simple act of living for something larger than oneself.
It's such a powerful moment of transformation for Levin. And it really speaks to the enduring themes of the novel, the search for meaning, the importance of family and connection, and the possibility of finding peace and purpose in a world that often feels chaotic and meaningless.
And it's interesting to note how Tolstoy juxtaposes these two very different journeys. Anna's pursuit of passionate love and Levin's quest for spiritual fulfillment. It's as if he's suggesting that there are multiple paths in life, each with its own set of challenges and rewards.
Yeah, and he doesn't offer any easy answers. Instead, he leaves us, the readers, to ponder these questions ourselves, to draw our own conclusions about what truly matters in life. What's so fascinating about Anna Karenina is how Tolstoy manages to weave together these grand themes of love, society, and faith with these incredibly detailed and realistic depictions of everyday life in 19th century Russia.
You really feel like you're there with the characters, experiencing the sights and sounds of Moscow and St. Petersburg, the beauty of the Russian countryside, the rituals of high society, and the struggles of rural life.
Exactly. And it's through those details that Tolstoy reveals so much about his characters and the world they inhabit. Like those scenes where he describes Levin's frustration with trying to modernize his farming practices, and he's kind of running up against the traditional ways of the peasants. It gives us a glimpse into the social and economic forces at play in Russia at the time.
Oh, and then there are the scenes at the opera or the horse races where Tolstoy captures that glittering surface of aristocratic life, but also hints at the emptiness and moral decay beneath it all.
It's like he's giving us a backstage pass to this world, showing us both the beauty and the ugliness, the glamour and the hypocrisy.
Right. And through it all, we see these characters searching for meaning and happiness, each in their own way. Anna seeks it in passionate love, Vronsky in social status and military glory, and Levin in family, faith, and a connection to the land.
Yeah, and it's interesting how Tolstoy uses symbolism to deepen our understanding of these characters and their journeys, like the recurring image of mirrors, reflecting the characters' changing self-perceptions, and the often distorted ways they see themselves and the world around them.
Oh, yeah. And those unsettling dreams that Anna and Vronsky both have, foreshadowing the tragedy that awaits them. Tolstoy uses these symbols to add these layers of meaning to the story. inviting us to look beyond the surface and delve into the psychological depths of his characters.
It's a book that demands to be reread. Every time you come back to it, you discover something new, some subtle detail or connection that you missed before.
And I think one of the most enduring aspects of Anna Karenina is its relevance to our own lives today. The questions Tolstoy raises about love, desire, society, and the search for meaning are just as pertinent now as they were in the 19th century.
Absolutely. I mean, we're still grappling with those same tensions between individual freedom and societal expectations, the pursuit of happiness, and the complexities of human relationships.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave our listener with a question to ponder. How does Anna Karenina speak to your own experiences and beliefs? What insights has it offered into your understanding of love, society, or the human condition?
It's a book that stays with you long after you've finished reading it, and it prompts us to examine our own lives and the choices we make. We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity to explore this masterpiece further. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Anna Karenina. Until next time, happy